So I'm hearing myself. The source of liberation and also the happiness of sentient beings, the only cause and the only condition that can be trusted is the teachings of the Buddha, and longevity and the prosperity of the Dharma is utmost important. In order to keep the Dharma alive, Dharma need to be practiced, Dharma need to be contemplated, and we need to read, hear, and get acquainted with the Dharma. And to do that, again and again we need to get in touch with the Dharma. And one of the most effective way to get in touch with the Dharma is by reading and hearing the words of the Dharma. And I hope and I have aspiration that we, the follower of the Buddha, will continue read, contemplate, and then practice the Dharma that is such a precious, like a nectar that can quench our thirst and release us from all kinds of suffering. So we will now dedicate the merit that we have just accumulated through resounding these words of the wisdom and compassion. Sanje Permantamra, Jipichan, Teni Jiting, Vitajam, Teni or Tempichoramio, Jitan Rajanadam, Vijavitam, Teni Jiting, Vitashin, Kindendam, but Chetan, we don't have a many children, such a number. Teni Jiting, Vitashisumba. Chonga Chimpata Tunga something that Kava Chavasam is children, Zajin Juchi Chanchu Samjurum, but Majiban, Jeva, Yambameba, Kone, Gondo, Power Show.
Okay, now we shall
for so kindly presiding over the event and for his exceptional and cool words of wisdom. And would like to thank the intent as well as all the coordinators who facilitated the gathering around the world for all of your time and your patience and enthusiasm. And we thank all of you for joining us via live streaming, for being patient and persistent as we figured out whether or not this was possible. And we really hope that with your continued support and in so many ways, that 84,000 will continue its success in producing translation, and that we will have the opportunity to resound together this ever-growing body of the English translations of the Buddha's words. So now we ask Rinpoche to have a few more words. Thank you.
Okay, I think I'm having too many words, but nevertheless, as I said earlier, translating anything, whatever, it's so difficult. And of course, the translating words of the Sublime Being by us, deluded beings, is of course no need to mention. Without a doubt, it is so difficult. But we have the aspiration for the benefit of sentient beings to liberate ourselves from this bondage. We do have aspiration that we can translate the words of the Buddha as much as we can, and within our capacity and within our ability. And once again, I'd like to thank everyone who really is so devoted and dedicated and put so much effort in doing this. I think this is the best thing we can do. As I said right at the beginning, the translating the words of the Buddha, I mean, this project is not the most colorful and very, I don't know, appealing, because you don't really see, glittering stuff. You don't really, it's not visible, sort of. We human beings are so used to things that are so tangible and visible and measurable, and something that struck us instantly. So it's a very difficult endeavor, especially for the translators and proofreaders and editors. It's a really painful job, and it is an ongoing activity. So I personally appreciate everybody's effort. I hope everybody also join me rejoicing this, and we will always keep in our mind humbly that we can only try our best. We cannot claim that we will do the perfect job. We can just continue aspire and do our best. So please help us, please wish good, and having even a good wish for this endeavor, I would consider as an act of bodhicitta, because after all, making the words of the Buddha available, as I said earlier, this is the only non-deceiving, totally trustable source of happiness and liberation for all of us. Thank you for many of you being here today. So we will end here, yeah. And I think we are finished with resounding, yeah. And I think, so those who are basically here for the resounding, you can. If it is time for bed, I think you should go to sleep. It is, if it is time for, lunch or dinner or whatever in different parts of the world, please do so. But I just want to take the opportunity to announce this, that there will be an extra thing that is to do with nendro transmission, and that will happen shortly. Okay. And how about your presentation? You will do it now?
It will be after everything in the local locations.
What?
We only do the presentations locally.
No, okay. Okay, so that's it. Yeah. Finished?
Yeah, but they're waiting for your loom over the live stream.
Oh, we will do it now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so I'm assuming that okay, I guess we will now do the nendro loom. Now this the nendro practice sort of we have created some sort of a facility a platform to practice nendro. I myself I have done one or two nendros when I was much younger without proper I don't know motivation and dedication. So I like to also again start nendro starting today actually, and so many people have expressed their wish to join me. So we have created some sort of a format just to discipline ourselves. Actually, it's not like a commitment but of course it's really up to you if you want to commit yourself, because we human beings, we always, one of the biggest weaknesses sort of self-disciplining, and I guess it helps us to express our wish or a vow or some sort of a pledge. And there's this tradition of like New Year's resolution, so on and so forth. And one of my my Losar resolution is that I will do nendro again for I don't know how long it takes, maybe about a year, maybe 2 years, but however long it takes, I will do a little bit every day. We have created some sort of a discipline so that people can do like minimum half an hour all the way to however long you can and you are able, and with a sort of a target of time accumulation. And time to time, if it helps, I will be also speaking a little bit about my own experience and the points of nendro, if that helps. Actually, the nendro is really a complete practice. It has one can say it has the complete practice of all the yanas or the vehicle. There is, of course, the fundamental practice of refuge, which is like the quintessence of the Sarvakayana path. And then there is the bodhicitta practice, which is, of course, like the essence of the Mahayana path. And then there is the Vajrasattva, Mandala, and the Guru Yoga, and especially the Guru Yoga, which is like the most important. So if you like, spine or the brain or the eyes or the heart of the Tantrayana. So all this is within the nendro practice framework. I would say nendro, the concept of the nendro, as we know now, is really skillfully created by the past masters, especially in Tibet. It's not as, the nendro as we know now seems to be, that concept have come much later, I would say. I would not know if Milarepa, for instance, did so-called what we call nendro, or Sakya Pandita did it, or Lama Tsongkhapa did, or or Longchenpa did, as we nendro as we know that. But yes, the great masters of the past have gone through the path of refuge, bodhicitta. They have also gone through the path of purification of defilement and accumulation of merit, and the quintessential practice of Guru Yoga to actualize the nature of the mind. That they have all done. I mean, that is the sort of the practice of the Vajrayana. And also, more broadly, nendro, basically, the nendro is to purify your defilement, or in other words, your hang-ups, your inhibitions, your dualistic habitual pattern. And that's one aspect of the nendro. The other aspect is the accumulation of merit, or the accumulation, I should say. And then for the accumulation, there's two types of accumulation: the accumulation of merit and the accumulation of wisdom. Accumulation is merit is, in the nendro context, it is done through the practice of mandala offering, and the accumulation of the wisdom is invoked through the blessings of the Guru. Nendro, as we know, therefore, is a very compact and easy to comprehend. And I know nendro is very, very vast. So for many people, it is quite big to fathom. But if you can understand the whole sort of the context, the world of the Vajrayana, the idea of nendro actually is really, really practical and very, very compact, that we can sort of have some sort of a sense or direction. So I'm going to, even though I'm going to read only one or two different versions of nendro this time, it's not as if you can't do other nendro texts. Please, whatever the tradition or the lineage you are following, you should do the sadhana or the text that you have, that you already have. For instance, those who, there may be some people who are doing the Longchen Yingtik. Please don't get confused or excited about changing your existing nendro path to something else. Now those who wish to do, those who have done nendro before, or those who are doing nendro now, if they insist in getting excited with, let's say, Jesun Yingtik nendro, then I mean I don't want to sort of discourage you to change that, but I think it's always better to stick with whatever you have been doing. So because you have mastered that, you have become at least familiar with nuances, words, phrases, the lineage, the concept. So I think it is better you stick with that. I will only read the transmissions of 3 types of nendro this time, since that is the time that is right now I have, but maybe in few months time I will also read transmission of some other Mahamudra nendros of the other different lineage and the tradition. So those who are practicing for the first time, nendro will begin with a refuge, and that's a fundamental, that's really the most important. And a refuge can be understood in many different ways. Refuge can be understood as simply surrendering oneself to the Buddha, Dharma and the Sangha, or to put it in a better word, simply trusting the Dharma as the ultimate truth, and therefore the expounder of this Dharma, the Buddha, as the perfect being, and the community that accepts the same truth and follow this same tutor as the community that one can trust and accept, is basically taking refuge to the Sangha. So this is the way you can also understand on the most fundamental level. If you want to make it more profound and more inner, or more not just metaphorical or symbolic, but more to penetrate one's own inner level of nendro, then refuge can be understood in a much more vast and deeper way. For instance, when we say, I take refuge to the Buddha, Dharma and the Sangha, we are not only taking refuge to some sort of a historical Buddha like a Shakyamuni, but we are taking refuge to the inner Buddha, our own Buddha nature. So in other words, accepting the fact that we have the Buddha nature, that is very important. So on and so forth, especially in the Vajrayana, taking refuge to prana, bindu and nadi, therefore taking refuge to the Guru, Deva and the Dakini, and ultimately Guru as the Buddha, Guru as the Dharma, Guru as the Sangha, Guru as the Deva or the deity, Guru also as the Dakini, Guru also as the Mahakala, Guru as the essence of all the refuge object, as in other words, Guru as the embodiment of all the refuge object. So I will, for those who are joining the nendro, I will be coming back sometimes, and we can discuss the nendro. But for today, since this is just the beginning, I will just give you the transmission. So we will first begin with the Longchen Yingtik nendro transmission. Jabachim Longchen Yingtik nendro namchin namza she namje namza saji je jo so omma hu jama ram le me zara bana bada yen tu jawa se ji be na dunga de dung na yi wo de me ye da me de kang gi tin ji de shin ji ji de L'amico da di dimensione di come ni ci impegnano giocando da per capire da che 배짱 타와가 건버지 제망에 밤에 비제 다음부터 도지체 빠진 치면들은 유도용도설 자주 나서 단출 나서 나와지는 체메지는 샘제도 하다 진짜 소라 버전된 진짜 아니 대박이다 좀 싫으면서 제가 더 똥숨지든 리체즘버스 탈취자주는 차에도 좀 진지를 지중거를 맺혀서 좀 샘쟁이 용어지 그죠 지스면서 와는 좀 쌈된 캐싱 좀 이거는 되면 까바분도 도지지 실링에 버려지면 최초던 상지신 그중에서 가다도 버리면 라미트거는 다른 사단함지도 도지는 내게서 랍센주를 탐지에 참지에 상지에 더버쇼. And the next I will do the Chechen Intik Nendro. 지진 침범 비만에서 듣는 중 아주 반전 사람을 두숨 상지 탐지하는 거를 대화들 무슨 콘을 명하려서 다기 디르니도 자유 탄이 심해지 지원을 까다기 가서 꿀리지 제대로 밥을 공부를 다른 배대로 샵도지 찜문 중에 까다라마 제대로 직접 침매지면 뭐 담지 열매도 줘서 맞아 선망시 타진이 리바민지 공화지 전력 퍼지는 라미 쪄요 라미 준비하려서 제부송나도 사주스 받는 라미 되는 까다튼 도스니 장난답에서 so those two, just for in case you are wondering the lineage, I have received as two nendros from Japjitim Kuchenzer Rinpoche. The next I'm going to do the Mahamudra nendro of Kagyuva tradition, which I have received it from 16th Karma Parangjung Rikvidorji. Lendi götürlaso parçayıcı sarı ne riçudi bir rankonu seyan insan medicim lamdri chubi kandena mayin tsunri dembaz dengen de chudinam koncho guten ko ve chatsa samang hajim 장시스마다 미스발레 같은 대rin 산지리 수제 산지 냐도라는 남기 타다는 베스니들 수점들 손이들 렌진 남기 된다게 라지 컨디션 된선 최종 점수를 넣어서 건주는 처지신지도 처리를 나는 제자리를 이슬라담에 봐서 라메 초경을 소신유지도 지워를 주대신 람마이도 칸도 코단지 다기 되거든 라스미로 제외치는 아다 두숨친 투동원 주도gen 레첸바 사중도 jamais 땡이 콘덴냠이 대신 소아드 저는 가도 담진저 소리를 소리를 나도 딥제딥집은 신로 검지가 무슨 무슨 그래서 내가 때리고 집을 남말로 준도 소리를 콘데임에도 까마 받치노 남말로 지시에서 장근이가 판초 샘제들이 태명아지도 손이 줄어지 거지 찐단 남 거지 예주 다다니면 저도 산진이 begonnen gewan dinyo 찾아친 분 두기는 도와지 좀 만들어 돼서 저저 tashi pamba karma gaji khagum bjin ji de damad shi bagile phelu. Okay, so this is this completes the 3 transmissions of the nendro. So please try to have aspiration, and I'm sure many times we will lose our sort of zest or inspiration, sort of willing to that discipline to practice, because any kind of routine life, especially when it involves the routine exercise that has to do with mind, that has to do with, you know, sitting and practicing. For beings like us, it's very, very difficult to maintain that kind of discipline and inspiration. And many times you will end up doing this nendro, just mouthing words, not really meaning it. Many times you would just do it out of guilt, or just the fact that it is a pledge, or it is some sort of a vow you have taken, or you have committed yourself into this. But that's fine. Many times, you know, many times we will have to just bear with this, instead of condemning yourself for being not genuine, not sincere, and therefore stopping the practicing altogether. I would rather you continue, even though that half an hour or 1 hour or 2 hours is totally, you know, like faking and not meaning it many times. I would rather you keep that discipline consistently, and as you do that, gradually, slowly, the sort of hunger to practice and you know, also the blessing of the Dharma sort of creeps in, slowly seeps into us, and then you will then sort of develop this notion that the practicing is part of a very crucial part of your daily life, and that when you reach that state, then you will not give up the practice. And then again, as you continue, one day you will find that only joy that you can actually reap from your daily life is actually when you practice. And when you reach to that level, then diligence in practicing the Dharma is very easy. In fact, that's the only worthy sort of cause for living. And this is where, once you reach to that, then our mind will enter to the Dharma without much effort. And that is at least something that we can try to achieve within these few years. So I hope everyone will generate this aspiration today. Okay, that's it. We end here.